Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Pearl Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda Heroes like Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to 2v2 on Eindhoven Country. In the north it is YoungRutra and Thoton. Flying here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 78th Sturmgrenadier Division in the south it is HelpingHans and, rough translation, Staffsergeant. Here fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin. And the 7th Guards Mechanized Corps here with Combined Arms Scout Motor Defensive. More defensive, Mechanized support and Combined Arms versus Lightning War, Jaeger Armour, Spearhead, Luftwaffe Supply, Mechanized and Defensive. As always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons who support the Propagandacast with thick and thin and help keep the Propagandacast running. Supporting the effort that way, so big thanks to all those. Other people who join thanks for Patreon. Also, big thanks to Mark for donating and supporting the Propagandacast with his hard-earned money. So big thanks to you, Mark. So, off to the race. We are here, triple controls there, and we got immediate choice of defense here from Staffsergeant with line to tank guns, heavy mortars, advanced fortifications, discus, and of course anti-tank overwatch. So that just leaves 3 players to a commander. Hans here going for conscripts and the Strafbad here. Grenadiers going to clash with the Engineers here by the entrance here to the castle ruins, or the northern entrance. Engineers still quickly falling back in the face of German infantry here. The Grenadier with the Cannon TK, Thoton's men pushing forwards, then backwards. Third Grenadier squad for him. And a third Grenadier for YoungRutra. No heavy machine gun teams are all there. Charging in the conscript, pushing them back. Heading east of the conscripts there, the 78th Sturmgrenadier Division for this running was a rather unique experimental German infantry division that was much more heavily equipped for sort of offensive work, had a higher number of light machine guns to it, heavy mortars well down to I think the company level, plus anti-tank guns and a full Stug brigade attached to it as well. So it was a fairly lavishly equipped infantry division. Bit of an interesting one there. Grenadiers, Pioneers was to the west here, second year squad there for Staffsergeant there, lots of barbed wire from Hans, of course, looking to deny the opponents much cover. We also get a bit of barbed wire here to similarly make it a bit harder for the Germans to just lay down sandbags there. In the center there, troops converging here from both Hans and Staffsergeant, going to push in there. As we can see there, Thoton is also shifting westwards here to assist YoungRutra here in the early game here, combining both Grenadier forces here for a much more impenetrable line of Deutschland. Second Strafbad here for Hans, emptying the prison camps for frontline troops, it would seem. Heading northwards here. Engineers concentrating right forward north there. The south here, Engineers trying to flank around here, the southern flank of YoungRutra, grabbing the sun munitions pointed for the Grenadier. There you go, push for the car point here against Thoton. Moving in full surround here with that. Engineers to could be the first victim here. Conscripts there pushed out. Leaving just the Pune troops and the Engineers, and the Engineers are quickly becoming the target here of Thoton's full undivided attention of the Grenadiers. There you go. Pune troop squad just left. One Grenadier squad retreating here, trying to get the Engineers wiped here. Could Thoton achieve that? In the west here, Staffsergeant there is having some more success here versus YoungRutra. Carved upon the reclaim. They're not really leading to a lot for now. Grenadiers quickly occupying shed, then unoccupying the shed. Other squad is advanced further ahead here. Flamethrower team there. Proving to cause be an excellent investment here for Staffsergeant. Unsurprisingly. Grenadiers of the Pune Troop squad. Then we got Thoton there with a pretty fast tech into some Panzer Grenadier. Thumbs up there. Meanwhile, YoungRutra just going for Grenadiers. Telemine down here. Fun fact about the 78th Sturmgrenadier shown that Stug brigade that had attached to it actually had escort troops for the Stugs, and they were actually equipped with assault rifles. So, fun fact on that account. Telemines on there for Thoton as well. Thumbs up on that account as well. Back here at the third base, we got healing up here for both. Oh, actually just Staffsergeant. Hans has yet to commit to that. He's going for a sniper here to bleed out those fascists. People shooting towards the side here. Grenadiers being sludged around here by Hans's forces. Definitely need to get those out of there. Panzer Grenadier pushing forwards here for Thoton with the Sturmgewehr 44. So bags there being wired off. A lot of barbed wire here on the eastern side from both players. West side here, meanwhile, YoungRutra now less frustrated here by Staffsergeant coming up. We do see some force being moved in as Staffsergeant has actually managed to sneak behind YoungRutra here and hit the fuel point, wiring off his cover, and even almost getting a mine down there. Pretty cheeky play there by Staffsergeant. Pretty cheeky. Storming forwards here with a scoped Mosin bolt action rifle. Two squads going to retreating for YoungRutra. Frontline there definitely looking a bit more precarious for the Germans. Like the Mechanized company with a 2-2 on the way there. We'll have to see what Thoton goes for. More Panzer Grenadier. Or, more likely just an armor carver's own. But there you go, make use of the short, More shot blocks here of the castle runes closing on the constant waste, but the Panzers get the upper hand and quickly rout them. Thumbs up there. And these are anti-tank rifle penal troops here. Hans, of course, already anticipating a light vehicle being chucked at him or even his teammate here. Going straight for the car punt. West side here. Continues being up here on the western fuel point. He's being pushed back as well there. Machine and give out for YoungRutra. As for Thoton, nothing quite yet there, but he's cutting off the opponent's fuel and grabbing the victory point. Good play there. He's a bit of trouble here as Staffsergeant rushes in more troops. Armored car there out for YoungRutra. And the gun grenades quickly popping into the building here, but the bun grenade there could get chucked at them. Hans narrowly avoids it there, actually. Most of it anyways, but still up close there is the Panzers as the engineers. That's not going to be a good fight for him. And there we go. We also get defensive of Hans. Again, similar choice. Then, of course, now means double anti-tank Overwatch, which is definitely something you'll see some CERT players go for, like in 2v2 matches. It's that or NKVD. Basically, though, both players ensuring they both got anti-tank Overwatch because it's such a air quote balanced ability. Having 2 times as much of it, of course, is 2 times as good. And he's been routed with the conscript penal troopers, so that definitely creates a much more tricky situation for the Germans because if they get a lot of munitions, they can very quickly make it difficult for the Germans to utilize any tanks. Not impossible, of course, but it's gonna get a lot tougher. So, and of course, the command also just a lot of other good stuff like Hey Mortars, Hey Machine Guns. I mean, those are pretty solid additions too, so you know, I would not be surprised if it's Hey Mortars. In fact, I'd be a bit surprised if it didn't. Punch grenades quickly retreating here as Hans strikes here, backed up with his Disco Hey Machine Gun. West side here, Hans falling back as YoungRutra pushes forwards here for the 78th Storm Grenadier Division. 5th and 3rd Grenadier Companies, respectively, Storm Grenadier Companies specifically, respectively. The division would get shattered during Operation Backlash on, but will later rebuild as a Volksgrenadier Division, at which point you get the slightly more confusing Volks Storm Grenadier Division. Oh, there's a more fun one there. Anyway, straight ahead for tech here with Thoton, not slowing down there for anything. I'd like to make a nice company, just a few Panzer Grenadiers, and then he's 4 vets there for Deutschland. YoungRutra, meanwhile, no packs yet, just a Maschinengewehr. And crucially for other German player, we've yet to see a commander. Eastern popping seas with the conscripts, or penals with they wiring down there as well. Telemann still there for Thoton, ready to blow up hard any Soviet tanks and vehicles. Tank will be taken out for both Soviet players, pretty standard stuff there. Coming forwards here for Staffsergeant. In the center, they can see Thoton and YoungRutra launching assault to claim the center area from the Soviets. Southwest here, though, Staffsergeant there hitting a bit of an uncovered gap there in YoungRutra's lines. Quick break it further through. And Thoton is actually building a fuel cache. He's clearly, I imagine, intending a tier 3 rush here. Bold strategy there, in which case he's probably going to have to rush out a Stu. Typically, if you're not rushing out support core in my experience, unless you got like a really strong advantage, you want a Stu. If you're got a really good advantage, they can rush out an Ostwind. But otherwise, typically, you may need a Stu gun, particularly the way Thoton's going about it. May likely need a Stu to help deal with any light vehicles or tanks. We got T7 there for Hans, and we got from Staffsergeant a half-tech, most likely an anti-aircraft half-tech. Pun's going to be pursuing the Strafnicki here, or penal troopers, closing in there. Fun fact, the Germans also may use the penal troopers. In fact, we had some fighting in North Africa. So fun side note there. Penals are there almost wiped out. Panzers are falling back. So Thoton here is definitely going for a pretty bold strategy. I mean, of course, in a pinch, he could go for look for supply and go for supply drop for Pack 14 and MD34 plus extra fuel and munitions if he needs it. So it's not like, you know, he's completely, up, fecal matter creek without a paddle. It's just, it is nonetheless pretty risky there. Pretty risky, but I mean, he's technically not too far away from Stuki. On the west side, he's looming forwards. There we go. Quartman ready here for Mr. Staffsergeant's anti-aircraft half-track. So ready to churn through some German infantry there. And of course, light vehicles. We've got Thoton here with Mechanized, featuring command tanks, 250-1 half-tracks, vehicle critical repairs, spotting scopes, and of course the howitzer. All handy additions there. And there we go. We do get Staffsergeant with the Soviet heavy mortar. May Hans go for one as well there? I mean, that would be a pretty good addition, but we'll see. We shall see what HelpingHans there decides he desires. And he's opening up here against the countries there, ripping through them with ease, teasing forward here. Good mobility so far by Hans, shifting from centre east quite rapidly and fluidly. They're able to assist his teammate fairly well there. Hans are going to use there, setting out for Deutschland, 4 kills, veterans who won. Thoton there, definitely should get that to Pomacop pretty schnell. In fact, I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen that up by now. I mean, he should typically be ahead on the curve on that one, so I feel like that's a bit another side for Thoton to put it down. Surprised he's flooding like a lot of map at this stage. You could easily afford another Pentagon to squad and a support core and probably still get out like a medium tank in time. So they've got more pioneers here for Thoton. I mean, that's going to be a pretty good addition no matter what. Drive grenade here plus the punch they could take out here one of Hans's Strafnicki, but no, they do get away here. Set turn to the disc, which is also forced to retreat. Teasing the striking eastwards here. Mine spotted there from Hans, but yeah. Thoton's pioneers are very much forced to take a very long route home. And we sort of see something a bit odd here, like despite, you know, being the one who rushed tier 3 out, he still has a support McCup behind his teammate. You know, again, it's this odd kind of flaw typically find in a lot of, you know, players, in particular Wehrmacht players. If they go for a tier 3 rush strategy, somehow they're also really bad at timing it. I don't really get that one. But like, it's something I've noticed over these days. Like, if they're trying to rush tier 3, a good portion of the time, they're gonna be really slow about it too. But either way though, he gets his support McCop after his teammate. Arguably got out even later, but probably going to Panther 4 then. Somehow didn't get completely clobbered. In fact, to go for the command tank here. And that is a pretty good addition. But again, timing-wise, definitely suboptimal play there by Thoton. Minor thumbs down, you know. Again, like, if you're going to go for a tier 3 rush, one of the things going to matter the most is getting the bloody timing right. Armor comes in music and is the conscripts. And again, as I've noticed a lot of Wehrmacht players, you know, over the years try and go for this, and they almost never get the timing right. In fact, I suspect this is why they kind of gave up for some reason. They just can't comprehend it. I don't know. I'm sort of being a bit harsh. It's just, you know, a bit flabbergasting after so much. There's just people... Anyways, Mechanized on my company up there for Staffsergeant. Command tank out here for Thoton. It feeds Panzerkampfwagen 4. Will certainly be a challenge to the T-70, but also the infantry. Crucially, will also, of course, make Thoton's infantry tougher and more resilient. And, of course, with the Panzergrenadiers, when they then combine it with their combined arms bonus and later veterans bonuses, they do become pretty tough. They do become pretty damn tough. And there we go. In fact, we do get the Haymortar for Hans. Again, no surprise. If anything, it would have been a much more surprising move if he hadn't gone for the Haymortar, because, again, this third Haymortar is really good. I mean, Haymortars and companies are generally just really good. In fact, they're so good that for the companies see, they fix them by, you know, removing the ability to retreat and, you know, making sure they stick to 4-man teams. So, command tank going up here. Strafbot there around it. Panzers they're straight into mine. Of course, they'll have to retreat here. Otherwise, they're pretty much, you know, in a kill zone there. Theoretically, could deploy smoke here, but the command tank using the smoke shell to keep them alive. Rushes enough for the T-zone with the command tank here. Got down to half health. Panzers there still at it. Definitely need to be careful with them though. Down to 1 man. Absolutely needs to retreat there. In the center, YoungRutra keeps clashing out here with Staffsergeant. Staffsergeant, I feel like, could try and go for like slightly more deeper flank here against YoungRutra. Try and hit the field point that way. East side here, the command tank remains in a pretty good position. Field gun here from Staffsergeant to help Hans there, as the command tank is definitely throwing several wrenches into his plans. In the center, though, Staffsergeant are looking for a gap there, is instead met with the armored car. So, no tank. Oh, we do actually have a tank now here for YoungRutra. Thumbs up. As for Thoton, we'll have to see next there. We'll still go for more infantry, go for support weapons. I mean, there's plenty of options here for Thoton to pick from. So far, Thoton is apparently not interested in flexing them too hard here. Panther sending out here. Hans also with a Mechanized armor company, pretty much expected. Can, of course, upgrade his conscripts. And I imagine we're seeing the same from Staffsergeant. T-34 from 6 there for him. Panther forming forward and getting the field gun here out in the open. Tier 4 for YoungRutra, that is a pretty bold strategy there. Command tank ups, they get to kill the penal troopers. Second shot fired there. Panther forming up, going straight for the half track here. Could take it out. Got it.
Another vehicle has been lost in the defense of the Rodina.
Command tank there. 5 kills. South H was remember the tank not doing a fair amount of damage to the command tank. Great rough net there. Though, of course, forces the penals will withdraw here. And overall, the Germans in a pretty good position right now. They also got a notable victory point against the Allies so far. 293, but this is 500. Definitely a bit awkward there for the Allies so far. The Germans just definitely giving the beat down. The Allies, I think, will need to come up with some different tactics to turn the tide around there. I mean, they're so far just kind of taking head on. I mean, Staffsergeant, for example, hasn't quite been as flexible as Hans in some respects, and crucially hasn't really been looking for like any significant gaps to exploit on a more serious level. It's been a bit of probing through the center, for example. We're not seeing much in the west there, for example. There might be something there for Staffsergeant to look into in future matches. Grenadiers flank versus the Conscripts here. Thoton, of course, ready to provide support here. Hans with the T-34-6 as well. 7 kills in the heavy mortar so far. Already veterans 1. Conflict almost wiped out. Also seeing some movement towards the eastern victory point. Very good there, though. Of course, we do have a fair chunk of S-mines there from Thoton. Thumbs up. Very good work there. Could actually take out Hans's conscript. Yep. Complete wipe there. S-mines, for example, in particular on faraway points at the edge of the map are really, really good because your opponent's more likely to just think, you know, they can just send in some guy to grab it and then they just run into a full S-mine field to get the unit wiped. So, thumbs up there to Thoton. Bomb grenade offer plus the command tank. Is forced to withdraw here, though. Hans's T-34 ramming in the center. We got Staffsergeant T-34 moving forward straight into the Panther on the pack. Again, you know, where most of the German guns are pointing. No attempt to, for example, again, exploit any potential gaps in the left flank, which again could crumble pretty quickly with a single T-34 spearheading the effort. Commanding pursuit here. Thoton with a howitzer, no additional armor here. It does a pack 40 up, meaning calls the S-back tech for the light mechanized company. Tragically, no Sturmgeschütz here whatsoever for Thoton. Or from YoungRutra, but he's seemingly again going for the Panzer Corps. In fact, we got Jaeger Armour here in an interesting choice here. I mean, there's no chance on the ISU 152, but I guess he just wants to go for it anyways. But still, break for packages, reconnaissance overflight, mobile observation posts, spotting scopes, and of course the Elephant Heavy Tank Destroyer. Got a howitzer as well here, and where will Thoton be delivering his barrage? And yeah, he's going to commit to another one of those slight flaws I see from players from time to time, which is, you know, the I'm feeling lucky branch of artillery strategies, which is just, you know, firing across the half the map, or entire map there to hit, hopefully hit something in the base, but with absolutely no guarantee of doing so. So looking for, like, you know, maybe more bunched up targets you might actually have a chance of, you know, realistically hitting, because for starters, if they're actually there. Again, that's like, you know, another thing there, like, you know, we don't see howitzers as much nowadays, but still, like, you know, when they'd be more popular, you'd see most players just, you know, fire around into the base of the opponent, hoping to get lucky. Similar to, like, you know, the whole tier 3 rush. I never always found a bit odd, like, you know, they never tried to, like, maybe, you know, find other ways to, like, maybe hit targets. Like, you know, maybe looking for them and then shooting at them. And, you know, it's not obviously all Thoton's fault, but he's, you know, he is, you know, slightly representing some of those quirks I occasionally find in players that just seem to really refuse to give up on. What do you mean fire at the target? I'd rather just hope to get lucky. I like to gamble. Anyways, Thoton there finally going for the Stug 3G. The Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung G. Meanwhile, Staffsergeant with another T-34-6 on the way. T-34 rolling for the mines, and the Germans at the same time. Talk about efficiency, people. Almost wiping out there one of Thoton's Grenadier squads, in fact. Might just see the wipe there happen. Maybe not. But the Sturmgeschütz Ausführung G almost done there for Thoton and the 78th Sturmgrenadier Division. Got the sniper there with 16 kills for 22. Thoton's hands is almost ready to fire again. Where will he start firing this time around? Katrusha for Hans meanwhile. Staffsergeant. Well, not enough fuel for anything else. And still, not really much happening on the west side of the map. He's still very much heavily focused on the center of the victory point there. And again, this, I mean, Hans at least is able to secure the eastern victory point because, again, Thoton's a bit more towards sea, so that does mean his defense of the eastern victory point is pretty lax. But again, the thing, yeah, Staffsergeant trying to realize, hang on, if they're so focused on the center, maybe the western victory point, it's also pretty poorly guarded, as it turns out. It was. single machine gun, which of course could deal with sort of small-scale infantry assaults, but a tank obviously represents a bit more of a challenge. So now the Western victory one's over there, which means the Soviets could actually start turning the bleed around against the Germans if they pick up the pace there. Meanwhile, Thoton going straight ahead against HelpingHans with the Stuke and his command tank. Of course, he could also launch attacks from other angles, maybe claim the Eastern victory point. Always Stuke straight ahead in the T-3476. Penfolding westward sea. And we got a Sturmpanzer out here for YoungRutra. Stuke 3D there charging ahead for Deutschland. Shooting at the sniper, missed. Could theoretically take out the Katyusha there if aware, but I don't think Thoton is quite aware it was there. Disengaging with the Stuke 3D there. The Sturmgeschütz Ausführung pulling forwards again there. We got marked target here from the command tank. It is a Veterancy 1 ability there. Quite handy ability, by the way. Thumbs up there. But yeah, despite having cleared out the way to the Western victory point, but we're not really seeing Staffsergeant make any major moves. And there you go. We do get one anti-tank watch now against YoungRutra in the center. The Sturmpanzer over the damaged engine is, of course, an excellent target here for this ability, which again is utterly ahistorical. In particular, in the case of the Soviets, were not known for, you know, tactical accuracy with artillery. They were good at just massive artillery barrages that pre-planned ahead of time, but, you know, heading individual tanks on the battlefield like that, not so much. Oh, well, the gun is quite wiped here, quite below the YoungRutra. In the end, might have been a good push here for Staffsergeant. Still, no attempt to get the Western victory point. Then we got 139 to 500. They need to send this around pretty quickly. Command tank going for the penal troopers here. Around the center victory point here, steadily for the motherland. Panzer gun, they're routed east level, by the way. Could you wipe here? That would be great for the Soviets. Pack 40 there for YoungRutra. And there you go. East Panzer's wiped. That's quite below to Thoton. His howitzer there remaining silent. It did apparently get some kills earlier. That's something, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot of targets here to fire at. So, I mean, that would be a pretty good thing to try and shoot at. I mean, particularly around here, you know, a lot of engineers and conscripts there, maybe. Got the center point now. We got 137 to 499. There we go. Pack wiped out. Panther 4 falling back here. Stuke remaining reserve here. T-54 going straight ahead against it. Almost took out the howitzer, possibly. Panther 4, they're also in trouble here. Really good push here from Staffsergeant. Now there, YoungRutra and Thoton slipped a bit here, and the Surge did not miss a beat here to absolutely fall upon them. Smoke deployed here by the command tank.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Pioneers here for Thoton to replace all the Pioneers he lost. Stuke and command tank falling a bit back here. We got a machine gun back here on the point in the west. Interesting enough, again, we saw no attempt to really grab that victory point while the chance was there to easily do so. I mean, you can still run in the tank, clear them out, and then grab the point. In particular, this victory 2 T-34 could just draw up, kill the machine gun, and grab the point itself. Command tank is spawning the Grenadiers here. Thoton putting up some fairly decent consistency against any further advance here from Staffsergeant. Hans bring up more forces to the front line. There's Katyusha being held forward as well. Howitzer here for Thoton remains a bit silent here. Sniper, they almost wiped out. That's pretty good there for the Germans. Let's go for the search. Got another howitzer barrage here from Thoton. What will be shooting at this time around? Will it be another I'm feeling lucky barrage? Yup. Back to feeling very, very lucky here, Mr. High Roller. So, season the center of the Grenadiers here. We got 137 to 479. There's still quite a gap here, but at least the Allies are now making more efforts actually closing said gap, though not in the west. Grenadiers Panther folding up here. Strafbart there taking a bit of minor hit from the Panther 4. East side command tank moving forward. Stuke here still awaiting repairs. Sturmpanzer on the move as well there for YoungRutra. Got a bit of action here. And another T-34 for Hans. Katyusha for Staffsergeant. Sturmpanzer leaving quite an impact on the conscripts. Command tank rushing forward here, marking the T-34's role there. A nice bold attempt here, though ultimately a bit futile. Machine gun there still just hung nicely dug in there. And there you go, T-34 takes a full receiving helping there of 75mm high armor piercing rounds. They push back, and the center there T-7 is the Grenadiers. Katyusha fire off here against the pack. Hoping to snuff that out. Thoton Howitzer there. Yeah, didn't really do any significant damage there with that volley. Command tank repairs. Stuke base around the center, charging in for Deutschland. Bit bold there by Thoton. Arguably even a bit reckless. He's also floating a lot of fuel, I just noticed. Could easily go for more Stoogs, and certainly in most cases my recommendation is also have to pair with Stoogs. That way they can very quickly knock out a fair amount of medium armor and support each other fairly well. So that would be my advice there. Heading for the eastern field by the Grenadiers. Hard to ready fire again here for Thoton. Looks like he might actually be firing at something more concrete this time around, rather than just hoping to get lucky. Just maybe. Tifa going for the Grenadiers here. Maybe not. Back to firing here. Could be around the centre. There's certainly some field guns here that could be a nice target. We'll have to see. Tifa taking hits from the Panther 4 here. Direct hit on the T-34 6 of the howitzer. That's pretty good there for Thoton's howitzer. This time again, more concrete target. Unfortunately, most of this are still not quite there, but overall, he's at least trying to hit something, you know, roughly knows is actually there. I mean, that's a big improvement. Oh, just him to get lucky at the other end of the map. Most of the time, the opponent's infantry isn't there. Thumbs up to Thoton. Even more pioneers for Thoton, the German army. West side here again, still not much attempt here. Also in the eastern victory point fall here, definitely needs to be something done there from the Allies pretty soon on that as well. Staff side with more conscripts, another A field gun there for Hans. Conscript side with the howitzer. And only got one kill, but still did some damage, and yeah, overall progressed somewhere. You know, it's an improvement. It's not perfect, but it's an improvement, and certainly again, much better than trying to, like, you know, hit something all the way down here. First get your barrage off here. Or was it a Panzerwehr barrage? It was a Panzerwehr barrage here from YoungRutra. Got some kills in there. Thumbs up to YoungRutra. West side, there you go. T-Fed for going for that machine gun, pushing it back, and again, Cook out the victory point. Again, feel like Staffsergeant is neglecting the west side of the map. I mean, he could help threaten the fuel point, or say the German left flank here, so I definitely feel like it's a significant oversight here by Staffsergeant to, like, just ignore this entire half of the map here. Truth be told, he is, I think, a bit too heavily focused on the center. They've got 100 points left here, so it's really need to push for those victory points and need to push for them quickly. Meanwhile, Thoton, I feel like, is going hard on the howitzer here, perhaps too hard. I mean, I could be proven wrong here, but I think 2 howitzers definitely has some risks. And there we go, another anti-tank overwatch, this time from Hans. He seems to got munitions from more. We also got munitions up here for one from Staffsergeant. That's it in this case. The timing of it was perhaps not as good as it could have been. There was not quite enough line of sight, and crucially, the Germans could quickly back out of it, so that could perhaps have been said a bit better up there by Hans. Still push back the Germans a bit there. The 78th Sturmgrenadier Division. Finally dispatching someone westwards there to the point there. Almost got one of the Thoton's Grenadier squad. In fact, he's only just 2 at the moment. Starting to run out of troops, and again, the east side is also open. I feel like both Allied players are starting to get overly caught up in the center here, which is great for the Germans, but again, for the Allies, is, I think, not quite lead them to greater chances of victory. There gets the second howitzer ready. They're starting to open up. First one firing away there. Is it another hope to get lucky barrage? Yup. As for the other one, I mean, again, a lot of targets here. If they had an idea of them, boom, 2 howitzers firing here would be absolutely devastating. I mean, here, theoretically, it could be devastating, but statistically, you're more likely to just mostly hit dirt and, you know, give some squirrels a severe case of trauma. Pass off the T-34 from 6 there. Thoton finally going for the second Sturk. 2 thumbs up. His first Sturk is also T-32. Some nice shots and added there. Hans also finally grabbing some fuel points. So there we go. Back to bleeding at the Germans very, very slowly. We've got the bounce to the eastern victory point, of course. That could certainly speed up things there. And certainly the Germans could also afford to be a bit more active on the flanks, honestly. But oh well. Second Sturk on the way there. Howitz just firing away there. Oh, apparently this one actually managed to get pretty lucky. They got 5 kills at one point with a hit. So, I mean, that's an improvement. But again, statistically, though, requires a lot more on R&D. Another anti-tank watch here. This time again, the tank's in again. Once more, I can't help but feel the angle of it is a bit awkward. Like, it's very easy for the Germans to like to dive out of this circle. Typically, once position the circle in such a manner, it becomes at least somewhat difficult for the opponent to just drive out of it. Then it may be a bit of a waste of resources by Staffsergeant. Keep going for the Sturk here. Thoton might have dived in too far there. Second Panzer wing in there. Can he save the Sturk? No. Anti-tanker watch here from Hans as well. He commits everything to destroying the Sturmgeschütz. And nothing else. Christ. I mean, that ends up being pretty good there for the Thoton. I mean, even as a Vetti 2 there's still a Sturk that forced out 200 munitions on top of getting a T-34 drawn in and destroyed. I mean, that's a lot of resources to take out one Stug. Going into the count to the west here, machine guns moving up here as well. Eastern Mix Bomb is now here by the Thoton on the Hans here. T-Sun rushing in there, thumbs up, making use of the capture ability there, or secure mode. Sharp play there by Hans. Sharp play, fixing up the Panther 4 here. T-34 swings the Grenadiers, the machine gun. T-34 there almost done for Staffsergeant, put up to 3. That's a fair amount of T-34s. Because of ace level, or close ace level, could definitely become a problem there for the Germans. Got the Sturk moving forwards here, another Sturk on the way there for Thoton. Very good there. There is shot in the infantry. We've got YoungRutra here with an elephant possibly coming in here. Yup. We've got an elephant heavy tank destroyer for YoungRutra and the Red Army. Come out and their flank up behind the T-34 from 6. Shot doesn't do too much damage. T-34 turns the favour. Also bounces. Because it's polite, apparently. Command tank here. Panther going for the T-34 from 6. AC got a marked target. Got the feeling responding. Wow, that command tank just struck off most of it. Not anything. Everything. That was close there. 40 kills at ace level. Pretty impressive. Near ace level. Not quite there. Meanwhile, we got the Ace Panther going for the T-34 from 6. Shot bounces. Wow, there's just so many bounces. Though, of course, the Stug does not bounce. It's shot, of course. And these are being caught in a pretty nasty Katyusha barrage. And oh dear, that's almost all of Thoton's remaining infantry. It's quite painful there. Meanwhile, the So's making more and more of the map here. The lack of infantry of the Thoton, I think, is definitely a bit of an issue here. YoungRutra does have some, though, of course, he does also have a lot more armor. He's also got the Sturm Punch, the Ace Panther 4. So I think YoungRutra was much better off, but Thoton is definitely starting to look like he's limping a bit here, and this could be exploited by the So to put more pressure on the Germans to push them further back to the base. We got 392 now here left for the Germans. So it's looked like they might just be aggressively closing the gap between the two sides now. Panther the barrage off here, issue to fire there for Staffsergeant. Hans will have to do the girls for here. Stuks need to get a bit of distance in there. Mark targeting the T-34 from 6. Stuk lands a great hit. They're very close phase 2, and there goes second Stuk. Scores the kill for Deutschland. Need to be careful those Sturmgeschütze though, and there you go. Could see a satellite charge if he's not careful. Field gun there blasting away. Issue fire almost done. We did see those Staffsergeant lose 2 T-34s from 6s. That is less optimal there. Cancels it and goes for a step machine gun. As for Hans, well, who knows what's next still. And we got Thoton, who has apparently lost 1 howitzer, but still back in his old game. They've just hoping to get lucky by randomly firing into his opponent's base. I can only hope Thoton never served in the artillery, because if they ever find out how he's using his artillery now, I'm fairly certain they're going to do very nasty things to him. If he served in the artillery, of course. I don't think he did. Anyways, Elephant lands a great hit in the T-34 from 6 command tank pushing forwards here. 54 kills. I mean, really, Thoton is certainly, while not showing off how to use artillery or Tier 3 brush, is very much showing off here how to make good use of a command tank. So 2 thumbs up at least there. You know, we gotta, stay positive here and point out the good things so people can learn from them. H5, they're almost done for Hans. Machine gun on the west here. And we got lots of rockets here going back and forth here. Panzerwerfers, Katyushas, death and destruction. And on a side note, the Germans actually used Katyusha rockets themselves. Primarily it was the Waffen-SS who apparently was so impressed with the Katyusha. They initially used captured Katyusha rockets, but later on just make their own, and they just mount them on Panzerwerfers, and they just have them fire Katyusha rockets. So there's a fun fact. We got the Thoton charging in the Stuk here, close 52 there. Katyusha knocked out here, second Stuk charging in there. Full on Deutschland here, charging in with the Sturmgeschütze here, causing confusion and chaos in the Allied lines, and now we can see here the YoungRutra full up here in the wake of the Stuk charge here. T-34 knocked out, 1 Stuk kaput here though. Still, it seems to have done the trick here. The Allies are perhaps just a bit confused as to what exactly just hit them. Still, this does leave Thoton's forces in a bit of precarious position, but it does lose that Stug 3G, which is now halfway to the east. There you go, anti-tank Overwatch again. Certainly has not been the most impressive use of it so far this match. Very fortunately for the Germans, though. Very fortunate. That said, he's going to lose the Stug here. Tragically, he does load up a heat shell here. T7 flanking in. Shot bounced. Very lucky there we go. In the end, Stug kaput. Quite a blow to the Thoton. Deutschland means he's got very little left in the field. He's got no real infantry. And he's only got the command tank. And again, the command tank, though, is great, but he can't do all of it. More Stugs there for Thoton. YoungRutra holding out here. We got 70 versus 302 here. Need to get those victory points and control the allies pretty swiftly here. And again, need to remember the Western one does exist. Does seem to be a bit of a bad habit there of Staffsergeant. Another T-54 there for Staffsergeant. Command tank rushing forwards here. Nasty from the Sturmpanzer. Vertu 2 shuts down to that one. Command tank and the 13th command getting absolutely pumped here with field gun fire here. Almost losing it in the process. Does support smoke shell there to cover the retreat. Thumbs up to Thoton. And there you go on the west of the machine gun. Does successfully protect the western victory point. There we got 70 to 300. Got a massive barrage down. He's slamming into Staffsergeant's front line. Field and crew wiped out. Machine gun there holding the line for now, but it's not looking great. Most of them, in fact, quite dead or dying. First two got there for Thoton. Second one on the way there. East side we got the Grenadiers busy with Eastern Victory Point here. T-78 rushing east was there. Hans knowing it's do or die. In this case, do or gulag. T-7 rushing in there, going for those Grenadiers. Sturm punting forwards. Stug rushing eastwards. Second Stug almost under the Thoton. Sturm Panzer falling a bit back here near the east level. Straight in for the T-70. Good shot. Almost got the T-78 here. Got it. Kaput. Elephant there holding back. One kill. West side we got a deep flank here from Staffsergeant. Stug there with the damage, and you got the H-5 flanking it. It's going to need another Stug up to support that. And again, Thoton is just, well, he's going for more Stugs already. Which is definitely what matters in the end. Even if, again, like, you know, maybe some infantry work with them would be going a long way to maybe keeping them a bit alive for longer. Anyways, going for the H-5 of the Stug here, backed up the command tank. The Fields Panther Kampfwagen 4. Marking here the H-5 for death. Almost got the H-5 there. Hey, mortar blasting away there for Hans. We got 12 kills in the east level on that one. Got the H-5 here. 48 versus 295. Allies have lost control of the victory points again. Here the Germans are absolutely keeping up pressure, and Thoton just keeps up the aggression. Lost his command tank here. Might lose the Stug. Hits a mine. That's what we in the business call not good. Did Ratchet take out the T-Fed 476 here? No, did not. And the that massive strike here takes out the machine gun there. Going forward for each point at the same time here. Katyusha barrage down here. There we go. Rendered them all neutral. We got 31 versus 293. Another Stug got for Thoton. He can easily go for another one. And I'm guessing he's going to just keep churning them out here. Though, of course, he would benefit from also still infantry here. Pioneers rushing forwards. Field being pulled forward by Hans there. Stug charging in there. Oh dear. And we got air reconnaissance here to help the Stug. T-54 knocked out there, I think, by a stray artillery shell into the base here. That's pretty good there. Stug getting slammed into by the field guns there. And he drives right in front of one of them. Ah. Oh my god, Thoton, he's lost another unit here. He's done it yesterday Grenadiers for Pioneers. YoungRutra meanwhile keeps up a much more steady approach, definitely taking advantage of the chaos caused here by Thoton here. And there you go, 3 field gun crews wiped. And the field guns also being destroyed here. Ace level Sturmpanzer. Certainly some fairly decent teamwork here. Well, at this point, Thoton is more likely just the bait, while YoungRutra is just the guy with a shotgun finishing off the work as Thoton gets mauled. Anyways, Pani's pushed back with the news in the east. Punch goes there for the YoungRutra. Thumbs up. Thoton just flooding resources here. Perhaps he's starting to feel the exhaustion here. Perhaps he's explaining to the Oberkommando as to what's happening to all those Stoogs. More pioneers and a command in for Thoton. Tief unfortunately flanking up here on the Sturmpanzer 4. In fact, he's got 2 of them out now. He's clearly turning on towards a strategy of aggressive infantry annihilation. Almost got the field gun here. Bunker busting barrage being unleashed on that one, which is... well, it's the remaining field gun for now. We got airburst shells here from Thoton and his howitzer. Halfway there to eventually 2 need to grab those Western Victory Point. Got 31 to 61 here. Looks like Thoton remembered there exists a Western Victory Point. Well, obviously remembers there's an Eastern one. Command tank halfway done. Elephant there at it, gaining veterans 1 there with its high velocity 88mm gun. And it's being obliterated by heavy Sturmpanzer fire. Panzer moving forward to the chaos with this commander. They do get access to smoke grenades. First command tank out for Thoton. East side of the engineers moving up here, spotting some mines. Good work there. We got 31 to 254.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
There you go. Issued fire ready. And a Stug as well for YoungRutra. Thumbs up. 28 was 254 here. Rushing with the T-54 towards west. Could just pop a smoke grenade with a pencil on the point here, actually. East side they're being grabbed here with the Pioneers. We got the T-54 being rushed in there by Hans. In the center looks like another push forwards. Good deploy smoke with the Haymortar. Got 29 kills on that Haymortar by there. Go. Penal triple squad utterly annihilated. Panzer's just standing here and they did deploy smoke grenade. Bit of a graphical bug here with the smoke doesn't actually show, but we can see it is there because, again, like, you know, literally no one's really shooting at each other. East side there, T-54 engineers moving up. We got 8 points, 5 points left here. Panzer just contesting the point here. 2 points left, and there we go. GG, game over here. Was close at times here, but tactically I think the Allies in particular had some issues. They just focused on the centre too much. You forgot about the centre and the west there. In particular, I think the west side would have been a pretty good side to push up through there. Maybe get the field point, put more pressure on YoungRutra that way. Instead, he just kept charging in at times. Not super efficient, at least they used those mortars to deploy heavy smoke screens and then assist an attacking force, which they again failed to do so. Thoton obviously had his issues, but I think he also made good use of the first command tank. He could also be more active on the flanks, but at least he did do work there compared to, for example, Staffsergeant on the other side. Hans could maybe also be more there, but he was also kind of busy propping up Staffsergeant at times, so it's obviously more understandable he was not quite there. That's it. Both of the anti-tank robots, I think, were in need of a bit of fine-tuning there. So there you go, though. I hope you enjoyed this match. I'll learn something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell enemies. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow again for another episode. And if you like what I do, of course, consider donating via PayPal, like the most glorious Mark just did there earlier. Or you can just, you know, pre-order the game that is coming as free by the link in the comments. Use the CoH2 for G there, and I get a small part of the sale there. So, thank you all, and see you all tomorrow. Bye.